Welcome to the Yalla Bitcoin Breakfast Show. Live in the mix with Rufus the Soul Mix from Gander. We are going to be talking about the craziest timeline and today with Mati and Moran. Stay tuned. Hello, Moran. Good GM.
Hi, GM. How are
How are
you?
you? I was just that was my little intro music to go on. Every week we play something else, and this week was Rufus the Soul Mix, straight out of Bali. Sometimes we have a bit of reggae, sometimes we have a little bit of hip hop. What do you like to listen to, Moran?
I think I'm still an 80s girl. 80s, definitely.
Old school. Do you think we'll see any
Yeah,
80s meme coins anytime soon?
I hope that they will have like a Depeche Mode meme coin sometimes in the
Yeah,
future.
I
I don't
mean
know.
that's the next meta. Now today's meta meme coin meta is old website. So Vine meme coin just launched 6 hours ago, $200 million market cap, and MySpace and ICQ and even John McAfee has come back to life and launched an AI coin. We are definitely in the weirdest timeline. Where is Mati Greenspan? I do not know. Mati, if you're around, you're listening. We'd love to see
So-
you. But he just went online, so he'll probably join us in a few minutes. It's great to
sure.
have you, Moran. We will be delving into a number of topics and covering them quite in depth, and trying to make sense of essentially this new timeline, the golden era that we like to talk about. We're seeing Trump launching meme coins. Ross is finally free. A $500 billion investment in AI. Even so you can argue whether they have the money. That's a big number. $500 billion investment in AI, and that's all on day one. So if that
Good morning.
Hi, yes. Dudu,
Nice
you are mute.
to meet you, Moran.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. And yes, Dudu, as you said, it's like very exciting time. Very happy to be here with you in the crypto summer and crypto president.
Mati, GM to you, maybe you can give us a little graphical interpretation of where we are in this point in time for the people in the market. I know a lot of people in the market, there's a sense of burnout amongst a lot of people in the market because you have to just keep up with these different pumps every day, these narrative changing, the capital rotation, Trumps and then AI agents, a lot of burnout. But sometimes we like to zoom out and just look at it from a long-term bird's eye view of where we're going. So, Mati, can you show us a chart or two?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. People are dumbasses sometimes. Like literally, the whole market has shown that. I mean, greed trumps just about everything, especially logic and reasoning. This Trump coin thing came out of nowhere, and it makes my head spin because, like, literally, okay, if we look at classification of the coin, it is a celebrity coin. I have not seen one celebrity coin that actually has performed well over time. They are always a pump and dump, like always. Like there's not been one exception to that rule. Trump coin is no different in my mind. Only the level of celebrity is much bigger. He is holding 80% of the supply and some will say, yeah, but it's locked up in smart contracts. Like, it doesn't matter. When you're investing in hype, that hype is going to dissipate over time. Hype, especially at that magnitude, cannot get bigger. So if the only thing that's giving it value is the hype, the only direction that it can go over time is down. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. I'm not saying that the price won't go up eventually for some unknown reason or whatever. I'm just saying that when Trump coin got to number 14 by market cap on the whole crypto market, you have to realize that that's some level of a plateau or a peak. And then very telling that Melania coin came online and took some of that market share right out of Trump, but neither of these have any utility. In fact, we're seeing Pepe also, and I think like the entire, actually, when that was happening over the weekend, it was very clear that he was sucking liquidity out of valid projects and out of good projects and good tokens, that people were like losing their
like XRP. Good project, the good tokens like XRP.
Yeah, well, you know, like Dogecoin or even Pepe. I mean, those tokens have been around forever, building their community and whatnot. And then, and all the AI coins also dropped 30% or so, because people were literally going there. Okay, what can I sell today in order to buy a few $100s worth of this Trump coin? And you know, that's just not a sustainable thing. And it's also telling that these aren't new people in the market. These are the same degens that are, you know, same casino that people have been playing around with for years. Though I did get queries from non-crypto natives about Trump coin, but they were more, I think, speculative queries, like inquiries. There weren't people who are going to go open up a phantom wallet and go onto Radium and figure out how to buy Trump coin. They're more like people who like, well, maybe I should invest in this in the long term. And obviously, they came to somebody who knows what they're talking about, who said, no, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, please, Bitcoin, which I believe is going to be the reaction to most people who are in the markets, to their loved ones who they care about. When they can, you know, people can be a little bit haphazard about their own few $100s in this market. Like, that's okay. I mean, lose it just to be part of it. That's fine. But I think just like introducing new people into the market on that is kind of understood by all, and it's kind of a bad idea. At the moment,
me,
where we are in the market,
I like with the Trump coin, you know, I didn't really express this anywhere, but one of my main takeaways from the Trump coin is like, you know, obviously we see in crypto how quickly people can turn money, you know, out of thin air with a click of a finger. Like, you can print, you know, we've seen the ICOs, we've seen all the, you know, all the big IDOs, we've seen NFT mints, we've seen that all. Airdrops, and the scale of reaching $70 billion FDV overnight has never been seen before. And like, we're going to see just greater and greater launches of tokens. And when you have that ability to create infinite money out of thin air, there's got to, you know, the value of a scarce resource like Bitcoin that holds 21 million supply and will never be changed and has a predictable supply issuance schedule. The value of that goes up exponentially, because it becomes sort of like a black hole that eventually all these capital rotations will rotate back into Bitcoin when people are taking their profit.
And the other exciting thing is that is not like, okay, this is a pump and dump, but the exciting thing is that he did this, right? And he did it. He opened up a crypto-based LLC called Fight in the United States several days before the inauguration. 2 meme coins, and he's already obviously got many other crypto-related projects that under his name, if not, you know, him taking the firm leadership on, which I don't think he does for most of his kind of
15 million portfolio.
Yeah, and so the beautiful thing is that he's actually just doing this, and that is signaling to the market that this is now allowed, and you're not, you know, you're going to be safe in the United States by doing these type of things. Gary Gensler is now out of office, and we've got a wide open road ahead. So, like I was saying, markets are looking quite. Bitcoin is looking quite strong at the moment. Chop at the top. Some of the altcoins not doing so great because of this Trump thing, and we can take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart as well. So it's quite strong, I would say, compared to where we've been over the last few weeks, where the market is just kind of.
Can you zoom out on that? I want to see that across like a multi-cycle time frame, so then we can see kind of the Bitcoin dominance maybe 1 week, and then you can see like how it drops in a in a bull market, as the alt season begins, and now it's kind of dropped, recovered, and there hasn't been a drop back down to those 2022 lows of the BTC dominance. And like the question is whether we're going to get them. Like, is this cycle going to be like the other cycles? Are we going to get this kind of manic alt season, or is this just like an ETF institutional driven, nation state driven BTC cycle? And also just going to, maybe have one or two little mini pumps, but they're never going to really, hit that escape velocity again this cycle.
Yeah, so we can see here that the most violent moves are actually to the downside, where we saw, the 2017 ICO boom, and then 2021 DeFi summer, Bitcoin dominance dropping like a rock as people dump their Bitcoin to get into some of the more exciting altcoins. And then, obviously this area of bear market, a lot of consolidation there, but no real movement. Good morning, Kenneth. And then, so we basically seeing Bitcoin dominance rising steadily over time. And I do believe that certainly can continue, even if we do get a manic alt season. I think that it's really understood that this cycle has been understood for quite a while, that this cycle is more about Bitcoin, the institutional adoption of Bitcoin and everything like that. So that's my view, but obviously the market does its own thing, right?
Hell yeah, I'm interested in the views of everyone at home, of Moran especially. Like, what are your take on how the cycle is going to progress? Do you think we see Bitcoin dominance continue to show strength, or are we going to get a silly alt season where anything that's floating in one of the far reaches of the crypto sphere is going to pump?
Yeah, so for me, and thank you, Mati, for all this introduction. And if we're looking first at the meme coins, so at the 50 meme coins that only two of them from the top 50, right? Which was Doge and Shiba Inu, just put aside. All of them are new in 2024. Like, this is a huge hype, right? And regarding the meme coins of Trump and Melania, of course, and Baron that crashed almost immediately after that. So
that one was a scam, by the way. I don't think he officially launched the coin.
Yeah. Other family members, some were fake, some were not. Impersonation, which is so it's all like a lot of red flags. Also the 80% that Trump is holding, and if you look at his 15 million portfolio of multiple things that he has, so it's like kind of like mixed feeling. And another thing, and it's kind of like maybe sort of like a prediction for 2025, I think the relationship of Elon Musk and and Trump is really going to dictate the game and the future of crypto and Bitcoin. I think the stage it's too small for two big dominant egos, and I'm afraid that if there would be like maybe a split or something in between them, I think it's going to reflect on the market. This is just like a prediction that I really relate. So we need to put our eye on this as well, and predictions. And of course the Bitcoin is going to fly, I think maybe 160, 170. It's not going to be lower than today, I think.
Yeah, anything under 100K becomes a
Yeah.
steal, because 100K is such a like a nice round number that it's become like, you know, Bitcoiners, we're now used to dividing, you know, by a million, I think it's 1,000, right, to get to Satoshi. So you have 100K dollars per Bitcoin and 100 million Satoshis per one Bitcoin. So you're at a spot where $1 equals 1,000 Satoshis, right? So when we get to the million, we'll have sat cent parity, which means that 100 Satoshis will equal $1, which essentially means it's one US penny will be one Satoshi. And then when we get to, you know, 100 million, then one Satoshi equals $1. None of those seem very far-fetched as they were maybe even 6 months ago.
Actually, you're right about that, and past performance doesn't indicate future results, but that's the exact dynamic that I was pointing out when Bitcoin was at 10K. I'm like, hey, how awesome is this that we can easily say, okay, 0.01, you know, and it makes the math and the conversion a lot easier. So honestly, I hope that I think that Bitcoin, if Bitcoin levels out at 100K, I think that would be beautiful. Even if it lasts a year, I think it would be quite a nice thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, think about the accumulation opportunities. Like you can't really accumulate, like as a, you know, number goes up, it becomes harder to stack any meaningful amount. So the best thing you can have, you know, from a, you know, utilitarian perspective of greater good to all the market is to have sort of a long chop. Well, that's kind of max gain. If you, so then people can stack, you know, you can start to get a debit order going, you know, part of your salary put in Bitcoin. You don't have to rapidly go and, you know, rush to stack coin because it's going to a million. But the market doesn't give a shit what we want or what we ask for. You know, that sometimes it doesn't really ask our permission. So, I mean, if Trump really, and that's I think what a lot of people are saying about the strategic Bitcoin reserve is that he doesn't really have an incentive to announce it, because right now, the you know, he can just stack quietly and then announce it, like, you know, in September or in June even, at the Vegas. I think he's going to announce it in Vegas at the Vegas Bitcoin 2025. Right, announce it then, and you already have like a head start on the game. And if that happens and we trigger this, you know, we see how quickly international geopolitical crisis can spiral out of control, right? So think about the other side of like how quickly a geopolitical race to stack sats could spiral out of control. So that's why, you know, if you got into Bitcoin 2-3 years ago, you had the luxury of, yeah, let me take a few years to understand it, to get comfortable. I think in the next 12 to 18 months, you're not going to have that luxury of, you know, let me get comfortable with it first. No, you got to sort of take a blind leap of faith and get comfortable later, because the geopolitical situation around the nation state adoption, that's S&P 500 adoption. Like, look at what's happening to public companies. Every public company that puts Bitcoin on the balance sheet, the stock price paints a big green flag the next day. Whether it's Rumble or Semler Scientific or MetaPlanet in Japan, which was the best performing stock of 2025. So it's like the Bitcoin standard, the Bitcoin treasury policy is going to, you know, take over, and it's get in, you know, sooner rather than later. I mean, I'm like on a frantic mission to get everyone that I know, that I care about, on this lifeboat before some sort of hyperinflationary event.
Is doo-doo on that crack? Is you?
You're not bullish enough, mean dog. You're not bullish enough. 100 cent parity by the end of the year. That's possible. That means one Bitcoin to a million.
Yeah, that's been the case that Samson Mao is trying to make. We getting you know, some sort of a omega candle, Hey, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. We've seen stuff like that happen before, but I don't know. I don't know how likely it is, but we'll see. I wouldn't, nothing surprises me anymore.
I think I want to get to Moran, and we're going to kind of pivot it to more talking about the real world market right now. Mati as well with a macro background. I think everyone's so focused on the 15 minutes chart. Let's take a step back and zoom out and talk about, the impact of Bitcoin on the real world asset market, whether it's, global bond stocks, the tokenization of that. And real world assets is an interesting little niche. I was in that niche for almost over a year, like full on believing in that, and I still believe it's one of the greatest opportunities for tokenization, because that's essentially where majority of the world's capital is. Like, yes, we can make anime and Pengu coins out of thin air, but it won't, hold a candle to the trillions of dollars in the bond market or in the real estate market. So bringing those on chain is an amazing opportunity. But there's been sort of a mixed results around real world asset tokenization. We see tokenized bonds had quite a big jump over the last 18 months, especially since interest rates were so high and people had an incentive to buy these tokenized yield instruments. On the other hand, real estate hasn't really done so well, right? Real estate tokenization, something that hasn't really taken off. And interesting to hear your take on just first of all, in general, the real world asset space, before we'll get into a few charts and ask you about those.
Yeah, so thank you. And first, I'm very happy to be here on this podcast with you. It's actually my first time in an Israeli podcast, and following your community and everything that you do there. And I really love the debates and contributions. I even had a chance to collaborate with someone from your community on wallet recovery services. So
that was me. You helped me get you didn't help me get my money back, but you helped me save my other money. So,
but this is on another project. Yeah. So your networking is actually, it's actually doing benefits for everyone. So a little bit natural about myself. My name is Moran, and I started my career the opposite way. I call it reverse. I started as an entrepreneur, initiating my own digital language school, and then I transitioned to working at Soliblock. It was a fintech proptech startup. They had a platform for real estate tokenization, where they claimed their fame and glory, participating in the Aspen coin, the raising of St. Regis Resort back in 2018, raising $18 million. Then it was tradable secondary market in T0. It was a huge success. It was actually the first real estate tokenization ever made before. And I worked there as the project manager of the tokenization process. And unfortunately, as you said, Dudu, you are right. There are not been much success at this sector, because it was very, very promising. What is better to tokenize rather than real estate? Now, like, it's flipped, it's bonds that are at the top of the list, but real estate back then was a huge hype. But unfortunately, the process, I think the core of the process of real estate tokenization, and it's very pricey, long-term. Doing most of the processes are off-chain and not off-chain, so it's not fully Web3, fully tokenization, unfortunately, and not a lot of companies can do that. And of course, at first, you wanted that institutions and to get the big players into the game, but if you think about it, the big players doesn't need this. They have the access already to these products, so they don't need it. So yeah, a lot of hurdles doing that. But on the other hand, we see a huge progress since DeFi protocols came into the game. We see a lot of protocols like Ondo, MakerDAO, Maple, a lot of protocols that are promoting this and advancing this sector. And of course, the predictions of being like $1 trillion market is still on. Yeah, so this is my take on real estate and tokenization. And of course, we see a lot of jurisdictions that are promoting and very like forward thinking, as you see in Switzerland and Singapore, that, you know, they are setting the stage for, you know, broader adoption of real world assets, and, you know, through also regulatory clarity. And also there are a lot of interesting things rather than just real estate bonds and all the things that you can tokenize. I just wrote an article the other day about a new thing that it called like legal tokenizations of court documents, that the inverting it's converting legal documents such as you know, court orders to digital tokens, which is actually also a good way to fight, you know, compliance and risk mitigation. So it has like two roles: not only just enjoy from the tokenized issue, but also encourage more compliance.
Something like that would be really cool. You know what we could call them? Like smart contracts, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh, shoot, that one's already taken.
Yeah. They're doing it through like NFTs, and it's like something that is in Hong Kong. They already doing that in Hong Kong and in the UK. So it's really, really cool because like they can trace bad actors airdrop to their wallet the legal document instead of, you know, you cannot instead of the physical, getting everything on the digital. Yeah,
it sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Imagine coming to like waking up in the morning to like trade some coins on your Phantom wallet, and you haven't like a note from a lawyer that you're about to get a warrant for your arrest or some shit.
Yeah.
If you ever sue me, you better do it through MetaMask.
Yeah. Nice to
I'm old
document
school.
this.
I want to show you guys something, and I want to get your take on it, especially you, Mati, because you know you're a macro guy, and this kind of stuck out to me. Whenever you talk about real world asset, you need to talk about the bond yield, right? And this is essentially, this isn't the US, this is the UK bond yield, but in general, the tokenized bond offerings from companies like Ondo Finance or one of those will be Franklin Templeton have bonds, tokenized bonds would be a bond yield instrument. So now the 10-year GBP yield, so the government bond yield in the UK is 4.6% at the moment. And as you can see, it hasn't hit 5 years, but it's at the highest point since September 2008. What happened in September 2008? That's when the world, you know, went into crisis mode. Right, and then the bankers had to lower the interest rate to zero to make borrowing more attractive and to stimulate the economy, and you know that kind of went down, and now in the last couple of years, obviously the central banks have raised the interest rates, but those interest rate, you know, decisions have been reversed. The Fed's lowered a couple times so far. The other central banks are following suit. Nevertheless, the yield on a US debt instrument is going up, which means the UK government will have to refinance its loan at a higher rate, even though the central banks at the same time are cutting the rate, which means that people are essentially, the investors are losing faith in the government bond market, because you know they demand a higher yield, they demand a higher interest rate in order to hold this shit. right, as opposed to just holding Bitcoin. So I want to get your take on what we're seeing here with the bond yield. Like, what's the impact of that on our bags, sir? Like, if we suddenly see bond yield breaking through and going crazy, what can that mean for Bitcoin and the rest of crypto?
Well, yeah, I think that's a reflection of the current UK government, honestly. Yeah, as you know, bond yields trade inversely to the price of the bond. So if the yield is going up, like you showed on that graph, that means that the bonds are selling off. People are actually selling UK debt. Now, if you ask me, um, I would never lend my money to a government entity of any sort, simply because governments are historically bad with money. Um, case in point, politicians, let's just say like a president of the United States is in power for 4 to 8 years. They're directly incentivized to borrow as much money as they can because they're not going to have to, they're not going to be the one to actually pay that back. That's the next guy's problem. And that's been playing out over the last few hundred years, I would say the last 100 years in the United States, where their debt just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because whoever's in charge is going to basically borrow as much as they can and stick the next guy with the bill. And hopefully that buck stops here. We do hope that like Elon Musk is able to come in and cut the government's slash the government spending by monumental amounts, which would in turn reduce people's taxes and stuff like that. So we're very optimistic about that at this point. But it's only today will be the third day of Trump's presidency, so we're still jury's still out. Doge.gov is now up, so they have a website running. That's great. Let's see some results. But I think that specifically in the UK, people are not happy with the direction that the country is going, and more so when compared to the United States or other countries. The United Kingdom is going more towards an authoritarian governance, and they're now prosecuting people for what they say on social media, which is just kind of ridiculous. They have zero freedom of speech there anymore, and they're just coming out of Brexit, where chance for them to start anew and to become a kind of independent economic powerhouse, and they've never really kind of taken advantage of that, and they've never really come up with strong leadership who was able to steer that in the correct direction, but rather they keep seeing the negative impacts on the economy from Brexit, and ripping out all of those regulations from Europe, and they were never replaced with anything real fundamentally strong. And so I think that your graph there is more of a reflection of the current government, and it's been said about markets that in the short term they're a voting mechanism, and in the long term they're a weighing mechanism. And I think that that's exactly what that chart shows, is that short term people are voting with their money. They don't like the direction of the country. Long term, we can see that downward spiral, which reflects good optimism about the future. But then all of a sudden, within the last few years, not so much. And hopefully, what we're seeing with the dynamic that we've been pointing out over and over again on all of these shows that I've been talking about is golden era. And I'm glad you called this show Golden Era, because that was my term first, and then Mark Andreesen, and now Trump in his.
I think you need to ask Trump for some Trump token as a reward for the IP. You should at least drop you some Melania.
Seriously. Drop me some Melania, right? My wife will have a fit with that one. But the point is that I think that this is people's way of pressuring the UK to get on board with investors, a way of pressuring the UK government to get on board with the deregulation that's happening. and to express their distaste for the current governance, which I don't think
Look,
it
I
is.
think this is a U.S. government bond chart, and it's similar sort of story also at the highest point since 2008. So I think it's more reflective of, obviously I have no love for Keir Starmer, he's a moron, but I think it's reflective of the sort of the gross uh, failure of the debt-based system, to provide a sense of security and safety. I mean, at some point the bubble has to pop, and people are starting to realize that that point might be now, because if you watch the US debt clock, and it's adding $1 trillion in debt every couple months or every couple weeks, and then the debt, interest payments on number one item on the government balance sheet, more than defense spending. Even you realize that at some point, even they're either going to have to turn the money printers way up, or the debt bubble is just going to blow. And the answer to that, to suck in all that liquidity, is obviously Bitcoin, and that's the trade. I think it used to be short bankers long Bitcoin. Now I think it's short central bankers long Bitcoin, because the bankers have already been beaten. We're on to the next boss, the nation state boss. And speaking of the whole industry and where it's going, I think one question that I really wanted to ask you, Moran, and that you're our first female guest, not for lack of trying, but there seems to be a dearth, like a shortage of females in the field. I remember back in the day when NFTs first started, and a lot of females, a lot of women that get involved in crypto, they tend to do it from the NFT side, because the art side, the more like a community side, less the hardcore tech degen side. Like, I don't know how many women I know that are like degens, trading meme coins at 2 a.m, like flipping Solana memes, that so like what?
I know a few.
So what do you think is, what's your experience, working to increase that number, help make that number go up of women involved in the field, and what do you think we can all do to help?
Okay, so first and foremost, if we are looking about the ecosystem here in Israel, yeah, it's definitely the situation. You don't see a lot of female in this space. After my departure from Solid Block, I kind of I didn't want to give up on blockchain, and I really wanted to find a place where I can enhance my learning and continue my involvement in Web3 and blockchain. And then I bumped into YouTube video for the late Professor Philip Zandner, which was the founder of Frankfurt Blockchain Center. He was a very amazing person that was all the time. He was coming from the traditional side, the financial traditional side, and then turned and discovered this world of crypto. And then he was advocating all the time and created amazing programs, especially dedicated for women to enter Web3. And these are free programs from women called the DLT Talent. And then he created more programs like DeFi Talent, Refi, Bitcoin Talents, amazing program under the Frankfurt Blockchain Center, which the purpose of the DLT Talent program was to give women the opportunity, unlike traditional finance, right, to bring more people into this ecosystem and contribute, and to educate them on entrepreneurs and also technological and investors, and being how to deal with regulations. So in this amazing 8-week program, which we're already we're at cohort, I think 8 or 9, already more than 1,000 women participated in these programs, and are already in the market, either working in the market, engaging, and trading crypto at 2 a.m. at night because we have many groups. And I'm very happy that I was participating in this program and also mentoring now in this amazing program. So I see a lot of women that were really scared and afraid from all the new jargons, but then you have assignments and submissions, and you really have to deal with multiple topics that you thought that you would never knew before, and techniques of how to get into this market. And I'm very happy to see that this progress. In addition, I'm also, as you said, like I majorly saw women in marketing and other stuff in this space, but today, especially with AI, me as a non-programmer, I can see that I can use the AI and ChatGPT to deal with technical stuff that I didn't think I could do before, like creating like SQLs and working in Dune and doing analytics. There are many things that I can do with not like a program or technological background, actually to get into and be doing tasks in this space. And I always tell,
I want to talk about your workflow as well, because I think it's important. Like, we want to talk about making a living on chain, women in the blockchain. I think it applies to men and women equally. If you can use AI like tools well and master those, like that should be part of the focus. Is how do I automate myself? How do I, SQL queries? That's incredible. Like, I'm also using AI to kind of, I have a script that links to the DeFi Llama API, and I can just get tons of data from there about DeFi protocols, about different funds on the blockchain or whatever. It's super impressive. I'd love to hear about what you guys are doing in the program for women. I know that there's a few kind of initiatives in Israel that I want to shout out as well that help women a lot. There's a Wing Woman organization. I don't know if they have meetups so much anymore, but they have a group, and they kind of they active as well. And my friend Israel Grubleys, he's a Haredi guy, ultra Orthodox Jew, and he organized an event for Haredi women that was actually more of a course, like taught them Solidity for like a couple months, and now they're smart contract developers, and they can actually go and work for blockchain teams. And it's perfect for the Haredi woman because it's remote work. They can choose their own kind of hours and make it work around having to go fetch the kids from Cheder. So you've got that. So that's the work done. Moran, I also want to send you an invitation special to our meetup next week at Zen Go office. Next week we are having a chill first of its kind meetup at Zen Go office. If you haven't signed up, if you're still listening here, you want to sign up, give it a shot. I'll drop very, very soon. And we have a couple spots open. And the idea is to give people, it's going to be like 30, 35 people, and everyone is hungry and hunting in the field, right? And like sometimes you go to these, meet events, they're like, it's kind of very, either, most people there are kind of aimlessly gathering there, whatever. But here you've got 30, 35 people. Each one has sort of a niche, whether they're a VC, we've got entrepreneurs coming, we've got developers coming, we've got people that are looking to find work, looking to hire. So people are coming with a mindset with what they want, and they're coming also to make friends and to kind of get to know each other and grow. And we hopefully this format takes off, and then we can do them much more often. And this is nothing like the value of Meet Space, because everyone's on the group chat all the time talking. There's nothing like sharing an experience, sharing looking at someone in the eye, sharing a conversation over a pizza and a beer. Sometimes it clicks, and then you have some common interest, and then you can take it further. You can take it to escalate to a non-ending LOI or something like that. So check us out Tuesday at Zen Go. We will be having the meetup of the century. But now, Moran, I hope you can come. But if you can't come, or if you have to record yourself, you want to give a tip to someone who's coming to the meetup and looking for their first job in crypto. They came from Web 2, or they ran a service business, and now they're young, they're very interested in crypto, they buy and sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're out if you mean, and they want to immerse themselves 24/7. They have skills, let's say non-technical people. They can work in content, in community, in marketing, in biz dev, partnership, whatever it is. What tips would you give them? Like, what sort of insights would you give them on how to break into the space? Especially if you're starting out.
Yeah, so first of all, every time I tell the mentees, and I'm also co-managing our DLT talent alumni community, I always encourage them to think outside of the box, like be courage enough to start and maybe participate in a hackathon, or try to audit a smart contract, bug bounty program. I don't know, try to get out of your comfort zone and do things that you didn't think that you will do before. I think participating in Web3, you have a lot of things that you can do also to earn. Like, there are many new models of like learn to earn, even writers can earn money once they see they can have like a benefit and maybe a side hustle or such an income from these initiatives. So I think it will be like more encouraging for them to start and participate and have more confidence. So this is one, like get out of your comfort zone and do things that you didn't think you would do before. And also, I think it's very important to stay updated, as you know, as it's a very fast evolving market. So I think they should choose their favorite media outlets to get, daily news and newsletter into their inbox and stay updated. And also maybe find maybe influencer or mentor that you really like and follow them, and maybe ask for help if needed or some guidance. I get a lot of messages on my LinkedIn if I can review, if I can help, if I have any insight. I always say yes. And this is another thing.
Aren't they all scammers though? Everybody on my LinkedIn is a
No.
scammer for some reason.
I do due diligence. I'm coming from.
Sorry, do you need dev work with?
No, not this kind, because they see that I'm working in a threat intelligence platform. So I think they are quite, the reach outs are.
Right. I'm the idiot investor in my portfolio, right?
Yeah, so that's why. Trying to get you.
Yeah.
General always say yes. Yeah.
In crypto, because I thought there were like kind of more oil and water sort of thing going on here, but I see that you're deeply involved in crypto compliance, and as a licensed individual holding a SISC advanced license. What does that even mean, right? Like, because when you have decentralized protocols, anybody can interact with it, right? So you can't really start to say, well, I don't know, I don't want people who are on the OFAC list or whatever to be using my protocol. That doesn't happen. So maybe you can explain a little bit about what does that mean, or is it that you're looking at a specific target audience, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so I think you're referring to my work at Nominis. So
yeah, the one that's written behind it.
Yeah. So I will tell you a little bit about Nominis. So I joined Nominis last spring. Nominis is a threat intelligence platform for crypto. And Nominis, Latin word is reputation, because at the end of the day, it's everything about reputation and trust, especially in this space. This company is led by Snir Levy, our inspiring CEO. He has a lot of experience in this domain, especially with AML and terror financing, and we all follow him. So my job at Nominis is blockchain research lead, which this platform, actually what we do is we monitor wallet transactions, and it's a continuous analysis of transactions monitoring, and we collect our data from off-chain and on-chain. Off-chain, I mean, like we go deep into dark markets, and also using a lot of OSINT tools and web scans. And we just added another layer of AI, which proactively identify potential risks actually before they escalate into threats. So this is the major things that we do. At the end of the day, it's like a 24/7 risk management tool, which gives you alert, for the compliance officer or someone that is in charge of this in the company, gets the alerts, can get them in 3 or 4, which provide him to act like immediately. He can immediately eliminate this wallet. I don't know. He needs to do the act at the end of the day. But unlike other forensic tools that the investigation can take like 2-3 days, and it's also very boutique. Like we are doing very custom made for our clients upon their their compliance and their things that in their company.
Who's your typical client? I think that's kind of the nature.
So it's mostly
which crypto protocols out there going, well, I want to limit people on my platform.
And no, it's not like just limit, but we're working mostly with exchanges, SMBs, and also some authorities here in Israel. Anything that accept
wait, hold up. Some authorities here in Israel. Hold up.
Yeah, I cannot. Unfortunately, I cannot elaborate too much. But,
yeah. Anything, Mati, anything you say can and will be used against you in an administrative detention.
Some of it better before we have them on.
We are dealing with AML and terror financing, and this is we get. I think this is one of the most powerful platforms and tool that is on the market right now, and we have created like a database, an amazing database that not many also our competitors, they don't have this much information, and people want this information. I think Dudu, even you met Snir, our CEO, in the Crypto Jungle event, and he was speaking there on stage, and he had 2 envelopes that I don't know what were in these envelopes, that he delivered them to the Israeli police. At the end of his session. It's thrilling, and of course, we got a lot of good feedback, and every potential client that we give him a trial with this platform is always shocked to see that some wallets are in his platform are marked as high and critical. Like, I get every time this cow face that like, wow, I cannot believe that, how it happened. And, at the end of the day, as I said before, reputation and trust is everything in this market. This is first and foremost. And I think we are trying to do our best to, giving these platforms to be qualified. Of course, we provide them the information, but they need at the end of the day to act. That it's their job to act. We don't provide any information to third parties, and they need to do what they have to do with the information that we provide them with. Imagine this platform.
They don't provide information, but they need to do something with the information you provided them with. So.
Like imagine our platform as like having an automated chief compliance officer Okay, an automated chief compliance officer, just replacing all the manual work. We're doing all the automation. The companies, like, we're giving API company plug into our platform, and we provide them 24/7 information. So at the end of the day, it's their decision. We give the recommendation and the alerts, but we don't do that. We don't do the elimination. We don't do, at the end of the day, eliminate the wallet or stop the funds.
In the context of Cora, what we're building with, which is a decentralized and self-custodial wallet, right? And I'm saying, okay, that'd be great to show the authorities that, we've got some level of checks and balances on our clients. But at the end of the day, also, I'm acutely aware that, while using a decentralized protocol and the self-custodial, we're not ever touching their money anyways. We're not a broker or an exchange or anything like that. We're just a service provider that's got a technology. And therefore, I'm just wondering what our responsibility is cross-jurisdictionally to ensure that we don't have bad actors on the platform. Obviously, I want to keep things clean as a licensed individual. That looks good on me and the company, and that'll ease our path into new markets. But what is our obligation, to ensure that there's no terrorist financing or money laundering happening on the platform?
I think it's everybody's obligation to do so. And many companies, they need to do this reporting, either if they keep them to themselves and then make a decision how to act, or even they are doing that in order to provide and submit and to show they are compliant. At the end of the day, it's the needs of the company and its policies and how to act and how they want to keep be compliant. Like, at the end of the day, it's the decision of each company. We cannot dictate that. We are giving the full transparency and full coverage of alerting you when is a bad actor coming in, or where do we see illicit financing, and this is our obligation to our clients.
And do you do that based on? Would you be doing that based on our internal information, or would you be mixing that with your own kind of?
Yeah, we are. First of all, we are working with each client. As I say, it's like really, really custom made. We're a small team at this time, just an early stage startup. So we are working closely with our clients and building everything according to their needs. And also we have we know the information of what they need to be in order to be compliant, but we're not advising. At the end of the day, it's the policy of the company or the jurisdictions that the company is having, and it's business.
But then what's to stop us from, like, if it's only running on our own internal data anyways, what's to stop us from just doing it ourselves? What do we even need you for?
Yeah. So first,
you don't have the information. You don't know which wallet of yours is a client or your users are like associated with dark markets or with hacks or with scams.
Not only
they can
that,
kind of flag the wallet. My question is, can you do a one-to-one wallet ID relationship? Can you deliver that kind of information?
Yeah, we can do that, of course. And what I'm saying, and Dudu is right, it's like we give the opportunity. We can do that. And also, it's not only that with you. It's not only, okay, I can go on chain and look. You say I'm a compliance officer, I could go on chain. But as I told you, we are collecting and have this amazing database because we're doing also the work, also kind of like manual work from the off-chain. Like, you don't go off-chain, and compliance officer, it will take him a lot of time and to deliver and get this investigation, rather than it's like on our platform where it's automated, and also I have like an AI layer, and Yeah, that's I think our uniqueness, that we provided a lot of data that you didn't think about. And it's all not only stop at your company. To tell you a secret, we also have like counterparty risk. It can be a wallet that is already in your platform, but I know that this wallet interacted outside of your platform with other threat actors. Like it can be even like 2 years ago, or even like 2 months ago, right? So we also identify in our platform for a counterparty risk, like not like even third party. So it's beyond going and see the wallets that are in your platform. We see way more than that. It's a very holistic overview of your entire platform and beyond.
Very interesting.
So you're saying you can get a one-to-one, because that's freaky. Once people can track you, the whole point is to have some sort of pseudonymity on the blockchain. So like, I've always sort of understood the Chainalysis and those tools, which is Nominis is sort of within that ecosystem to be, you can flag high risk clusters of wallets, but you can't necessarily do that one-to-one connection. And I think there's very big ramifications for user privacy if government and multinational organizations can start to track us using softwares like yours on an ID to wallet relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I think this is crucial, especially how I told you that, many legit and compliant platform, when we show them our product, they're amazed to see how many things they have going on in their platform and their wallets they're handling. So sometimes it can be very, very devastating for a company. And I think this tool is like it's the first and foremost that each company should have, especially when you invest so much, especially for startups, they're investing so much money and effort and involve investors. You need to keep everything clean. You want to work at the end of the day in a clean surrounding. And that's the mission. And so sometimes it reflects as you said, on other things, but at the end of the day you want to be clean and work and be compliant. That's what you want to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like it's
Think
I
about
think
here.
I think we wrap up for today, but like be compliant is a very broad term. Like to be compliant in
Yeah, of
Canada in
course.
2020, to be compliant in Canada in 2021, you weren't allowed to donate to the trucker protests, right? To be compliant tomorrow in Israel, they might want to start, taking unrealized gains or seizing money to give to some political, objective. To be compliant can mean 101 different things, and it can
and it will
get
change all the
bigger.
time.
It gets exactly, it changes,
I'll
and not
never
only
forget that
change.
time I encountered the withholding tax in Israel. That was just ridiculous. I mean, you've seen that when you trade with plus 500, you make a few hundred shekels, and then they take it out of the top, like out of your equity. Like they don't even give you a chance to withdraw. It's like, well, that's a withholding tax. Like get your cotton picking fingers out of my damn trading account. But yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
of course, it changes, it evolves, and it all depends at the end of the day on politics and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
Your approach is correct. Is like we give the information to the platform then decides what they want to do with it. So as far as the platform is concerned, there's nothing wrong with understanding that information. For us, it's more like, we give the information to the AI, and then the AI makes a case-by-case basis, a case-by-case decision, what to do with that customer, and if and when to limit their transactions or limit their accessibility to the platform is going to be up to the AI at the end of the day, using her own, code of ethics and understanding of jurisdictional law. So for us, it would just be like a matter of implementing your API in order to to have access to your database for flagging those type of transactions and making sure that we're as much as we can compliant. And then when we do, because we are going to the App Store, when we get to like the European regulators say, hey, wait a second, you've got a lot of downloads here. What exactly are you doing? I'm like, hey, look, we are compliant. That one would go a long way.
Just call us.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mati.
Wow,
thank you,
it was
Moran.
a pleasure.
I don't know if Moran
Thank you
doesn't
so
share that
much.
shit with me.
Thank you for
so
that.
much
Let's hope
for
we don't
having
get.
me.
And just to answer one more question of this guy, are you really going to try and time hyperinflation? I don't know if he's still here, but I was thinking about it, and I'll leave you with the story. Like, you know, probability wise speaking, what are the odds in 50 years, right? In that, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is in 50 years? And I thought to myself, the odds of a hyperinflationary event happening in the next month are very low. The odds of it happening in the next year, they get a little bit higher. The odds of a hyperinflationary event in the next 50 years, right, especially in somewhere like South Africa, where I came from, or somewhere like Nigeria, or a country that isn't the US, is one. I'm pretty sure that hyperinflation in the next 50 years, we're going this bubble of fiat debt is going to burst. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not timing hyperinflation. I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen. And the road to there isn't going to be, it's not going to be a 0-1 event. Like, we're in a hyperinflationary evolution. We're just at the very early linear stages of it, right? And hasn't gone parabolic yet.
So the thing is that there's, out of the top 100 currencies in the world, at least 5 or 10 of them are being actively hyperinflated at any given time. So hyperinflation is happening constantly.
Yeah, so that's what, Nate, Meme Dog, I hope to see you back here next week, Meme Dog, with some more banging question. That's a very good one to think on. If we had a giveaway, we'd win that giveaway, but we don't. So come next week, maybe we'll give you some dust. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful day.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.